Good morning. Good morning. It's time to rise and receive. And here we are for our 10-minute morning send off designed to support you in receiving what you most want by unlearning struggle. Today, we are going to talk about purpose. And if you are somebody who has been ever contemplating the question, what is my purpose? If you're contemplating that question right now, if you're looking at the world at large and you are thinking, what is mine to do? How can I be a contribution with everything that's happening in the world? Today, we're going to talk about purpose. So for those of you who are arriving early, I always like to kind of warm up the space because I know some people have, it takes a little time to get onto Facebook Live. I'm going to give you a question to consider as we move into today's Rise and Receive. And that is, I'd like you to think about a person in your life that has made an impact, that has really touched you. And just let yourself connect with that as we move through today's Rise and Receive. All right. So if you don't know me, my name is Sonia Miller, and I'm a speaker, coach, and best-selling author. And I am passionate about teaching people how to teaching how to unlearn, teaching people how to unlearn struggle, because it really is a learning and then unlearning process in order to receive the fulfillment, the joy that is right here, right now. Because receiving is the most natural thing in the world. And I have discovered over 20 plus years of coaching that it's almost like a lost art or a forgotten paradigm. So I'm here to connect people with the ease of receiving and understanding that usually if we are hard workers, if we've embraced the hard work ethic and we keep thinking and doing and thinking and doing and trying to finally get that fulfillment and we don't, perhaps the answer is not to think and do. Perhaps the answer is actually to receive. And if you don't know what that really means, then you're in the right place. So what we do at Rise and Receive every day is I pull one card from my brand new Receive card deck. I will read you the card. This deck is in development, so I'll keep you posted about when that'll be coming out. I'll read you the card. It will highlight a receiving principle. I'll unpack it a bit. And then I'm going to send you off on your day with a willingness mantra. And willingness is the most powerful form of affirmation I've ever discovered in all of my years. And what it does is it invites possibilities and the kindness of life in ways that you could never access through the mind, or what I call the masculine model of power. Because when you are pursuing something through intention versus invitation, all you can do is focus on what you know. But when you open up to invitation, you start to open up to receiving that which is beyond what you know, better than you ever imagined. Okay, so with that, we're going to move into today's card. And today's card is entitled Receive Purpose. Receive Purpose. And while this may seem a little bit kind of energetic as we go through it, please stick around because we're going to talk about ways to make this really relevant for you in your life purpose or your sense of purpose. Receive purpose. Let this wash over you. Purpose is defined as the reason for which something exists. Your purpose is to be. More specifically, your purpose is to be you. And your opportunity in this life is to discover, experience, and embody what being you, fully expressed, means. There is no greater contribution you could ever make than to be you, fully expressed. This is why so many of us feel an often nameless longing. You may not be able to put your finger on it, but it is the desire for purpose and meaning. Your soul is here to express itself through you. This expression nourishes connection with other people, other life forms, the planet itself. We are all indeed one, and this is how we experience it through our separate human forms. Only you can be and do what is yours to be and do, period. But if you believe that you must not be you, that you must be someone else, that you must be different, that you must be the same, that what you are and do is not enough, or that you must be anything other than what your soul tells you, you will struggle. This struggle is a costly one too. For when you believe what others have told you about your value and your purpose over your soul's guidance, you disconnect from your power. You disconnect from your joy, and others are cheated from the difference you could have made simply by being you. When you resist yourself, you resist life and all that it has to offer. For you are a part of life. You are not separate from life. Yet as you welcome yourself home and let your soul guide you, life can fulfill its purpose by flowing freely in, as, and through you, and you receive with much greater ease. So that's the Receive Purpose card. Let's take a breath. You can always come back and re-listen to it. Let the words sink in more deeply. And then with that, I'm going to give you your willingness mantra for the day. I am willing to discover the joy, purpose, and power of being me. I am willing to discover the joy, purpose, and power of being me. So take that into your day, and especially if you are among those who are currently in the question of what's my purpose, or looking out onto the world stage with everything that's going on and possibly feeling powerless or confused or overwhelmed, as many are, and you're wanting to make your contribution. You're really looking at it through the lens of purpose and power. Try that mantra on for size. Anytime you feel that, if you feel discouraged, if you're just in that state, just keep practicing that mantra. I am willing to discover the joy, purpose, and power of being me. If you've been coming to Rise and Receive on a regular basis, if you're familiar with my work, you know that as a coach, one of the premises that I stand on and teach is focus on the essence and the form will come. When we are asking the question about purpose, one of the common misunderstandings or misconceptions that really bind us up and keep us in a state of confusion is that we think that our purpose is what we do. And doing is actually just a tiny part of purpose. The truth about purpose is what this card talks about. It's about your soul's identity. It's what and who you uniquely are. And the form, the doing, can change. It can change shape and form. It can look different over the course of your life. But when you really get in touch with the essence of you, who you be, that goes with you everywhere you go. Okay? So the being versus the doing is a really important thing to open up to as you consider your purpose. And back to the original question that I posed for those of you who arrived earlier, think about somebody in your life that has made an impact, that has really touched you in a meaningful way, in a purposeful way. It may not have even been intentional on their part, but you remember them with meaning and purpose, okay? If you think about that person, okay, think about how they touched you. What was the impact they made? And then look at it through the lens of how or who were they being versus what were they doing, and see how much weight either of those have. Most of the time when I ask this question, what people get in touch with is it's how they made me feel. It's what they showed me was possible about myself in the world, or a way of relating to the world. It was the example that they provided. It was their way of being. It's often very little about the doing. And the doing is definitely impressive sometimes, but other times the impact is very little to do with the doing. There are people who touch us in meaningful and purposeful ways all the time, but the being is the essence. And I can tell you that when people get in touch with their purpose and they really understand that that is the common thread through their lives, and that the form can change, there's an incredible liberation. So for me, my purpose has been consistent my whole life, from a child all the way to now as a full-grown adult with kids of my own and a business, right? And it's basically, the words keep changing, but it's basically, my purpose is to help people awaken to and remember the truth of who they really are. And everything else is a ripple from that. Now, sometimes I did it as a student. Sometimes the form of that was as a mom, and I was working very little. Later on, I did it as an author. My book was able to offer an impact, and that was my pebble in the pond. And now these days is as a coach, a speaker, and doing Rise and Receives. Okay, so the form can change. Now, I wanted to offer you a resource because as we look at purpose through the eye or through the lens of essence versus form, it's kind of like, where do I begin? If you're new to me, the book that I wrote that became a bestseller and was translated into 5 languages is called The Attraction Distraction: Why the Law of Attraction Isn't Working for You and How to Get Results Finally. And in it, I don't really use this language anymore, but it's called the Mystics Formula, and it's a 4-step process for tapping into success for your soul. Okay. One of the steps in the Mystics formula is identify what you want. And I give a couple different tools to do that. And one of them is called the Vision Workshop. It's a very simple 4-step process to guide you in connecting to a vision for your life. And in the Vision Workshop, there's one exercise, which is the purpose part. It's the why. It's the why of your life and the why of your dream. And if you were to go there, and you can get it on Kindle or on Amazon, and go through the Vision Workshop process, even if you bypassed everything else and just went to the why, it would guide you in getting in touch with the essence, your purpose. And once you know your purpose, and I've done this for, like I said, over 20 years, there's an embodiment that happens. There's an ownership that happens. You feel it in your being. You go out into your life and into the world, and the things that start to show up in your awareness, in leads, in breadcrumbs from the universe, in opportunities, it just shows up because now you are owning your purpose, your essence, and you can be you more and more fully expressed. I'll just share one more little story about the power of this. I had a client, this gentleman, many years ago, and he went through that process. And one of the things that he said when he completed, he's like, "Oh my God, Sonia, I have known my purpose my entire life, but I never before owned it." Once he owned it, it was this like domino effect in terms of the things that he started to manifest, everything from job opportunities and money and clarity. It just started to come in. So again, your purpose, the power of your purpose is in who you are. It's in your beingness. It's in what you are. And the doing then can simply be an expression of that as you have clarity about it and own it. So I hope that this receive card today is illuminating possibilities, giving you permission, maybe giving you some relief as you move into your day and you look upon the world stage. And once again, here's your willingness mantra. I am willing to discover the joy, purpose, and power of being me. All right. So I will include some links to my book and to the Vision Workshop. I have it in workbook format. I think I have it in a link that I can send you. But if not, I'll give you some next steps if you want to learn more. Comment, ask your questions below. Please like and share as it helps me reach the people that I'm here to serve. And I will see you tomorrow morning at the next Rise and Receive. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.